Hey, how long does it take for people to forget about the halftime show performance at the Super Bowl usually? Because I feel like we're still on that.
Yeah.
It's been 5 days, 4 days, 5 days, and there's still some Drake Kendrick buzz. Is it
so? It
depends. Give it a couple more days.
It depends on how good the game is, and in this
game was horrendous.
Yeah, it was horrendous. So what else is there to discuss?
Right.
I would say Monday. You could probably oh, you're still talking about that?
Okay. I see that I'm not Drake, definitely not Drake. Kendrick's stuff on Spotify is just absolutely shooting through the roof right now.
Most watched halftime show of all time.
Yeah.
And but isn't the halftime show every year the most watched? No, actually, this was a record held by Michael Jackson. And the irony is not lost on me.
Have you watched any of the all 22 breakdowns of like exactly what he was trying to say and what he was doing?
No.
I keep seeing people say, you know, you guys don't understand what he was actually trying to say. I'm like, I didn't feel like it was that much of a secret. I didn't feel like there was an Easter egg in what he was trying to say. I know what he was trying to say, and it wasn't just that Drake is a pedophile.
Yeah,
there was more than that.
Okay, I guess I have seen. Hey, you didn't understand. Let me take you through the show, and it's really just. Hey, you remember you remember the movie characters Uncle Samuel L. Jackson has played?
They want him to be more nice, commercially sellable, popular, and he doesn't want to, but he's still been able to do it anyway, and that's kind of the bit, right?
Yeah, it wasn't as subtle as...
There's like a race thing that's obviously in there as well. Okay. I know what you're saying. I know what we're saying. All right, I just want to make sure everybody knew I got it.
Good job telling them that.
By the way, I've just received a text. So, last night I'll tell you the text in a second. Last night I tweeted this. People keep asking me, Connor, what do you think about Severance? Do you have any theories? Who is Miss Wong? What do the goats mean? I could have asked several other questions in that spot, but I threw those two out there. Josh, do you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the goats and Miss Wong?
I know that Severance is a show.
Oh, really? I thought you'd been watching it. Okay, never mind.
I got halfway through the first season and I said, why won't you tell me anything? And then I checked out.
Josh, that take has aged tremendously.
Oh!
Tremendously.
Tell me everything.
So, I keep having this feeling as I'm watching that show of there's so many arms and there's so many roads to what they're doing, and they keep opening up this world, right? So the more you open up the world, the more questions that come of the show. What does this actually mean? What is this a reference to? What is, how is this eventually all going to come together? And my theory is that it's not. It's not. My theory that it's not. Or that, and we're not talking about the show Severance in particular here, but that is the example that I'm using. Give me a second to get on this high horse.
You're just like Severance. Connor's going to go out and he's going to come back in.
But we're actually going to tie it together. Yeah. So I think, we'll see what happens with the show. But at the very least, they are setting themselves up for a horrendous ending to the show. They will never be able to answer all the questions. They will never be able to tie all these things together. And there, in that what I just said, there lies television in 2025. If I was making a television show in 2025, I would do exactly what Severance is doing. I would take this little granular of an idea and I would open up the world so wide. People asking questions. I would just confuse the hell out of people. I'd be throwing misdirections and counters, curveballs.
Oh, that's a red herring.
And sliders and all of these things, all to eventually lead to absolutely nowhere. But guess what? Everybody loves talking about it. They're analyzing it constantly. Whatever happened to watching television shows, Josh. And so that goes back to the text I've just received from a close personal friend of both of us.
Okay.
Not Frank Caliendo.
Red Panda texted us and said the following.
No, different close personal friend. Okay. Actually, a real close personal friend.
Okay.
I don't watch Severance, but I appreciate the hell out of this tweet. It encapsulates Game of Thrones experience pretty perfectly. Anyways, enjoy your radio show. That was from a close personal friend.
Yes. Even though I had to have my wife literally right by my side watching Game of Thrones because I didn't know any of the characters' names. I just couldn't remember them. I didn't have the capacity for it. Game of Thrones always did something.
We are making TV shows exclusively for the purpose so people on Reddit can write theories about this crap now. And like, I'm not saying it's bad TV. It's good TV. I'm going to watch it, but I can't get rid of this feeling as I'm watching this show. And it's not just Severance. I can't get rid of the feeling as I'm watching this thing. Like, this is not going to... Josh!
You're not as smart as you think you are.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, Josh. Josh is very angry about this.
He's very Severance pilled.
Right now. He's thinking about it constantly.
God.
I can't wait to hear the letdown of how bad he thinks the ending of the show is going to be. Because like I said, they're never going to tie it together. It's never going to happen. I can't shake the feeling of existential dread that this will never be brought back together. Our questions will never be answered, and therefore nothing is as important as it seems. Nothing is as important as it seems.
It's already won awards. It's going to win more awards. Ben Stiller is already being praised as the auteur of his time.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter how it ends because he's already got what he's wanted, the next gig. And in this day and age where clout is currency,
damn, Josh, damn,
nobody watches TV anymore. So like you can't like slap a good rating on the table and say, give us more money. You have to quote unquote matter. And how do you matter? You got to have podcasts dissecting every second of your show. You have to have Reddit threads dissecting every frame of every episode. And you have to get the people going, get the people talking.
Damn!
What happened to...
Damn, Josh!
What happened to setup, joke, punchline, next scene?
Travis writes in.
Hi, Travis.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to submit Exhibit 211 in the case of Connor is uncultured. I rest my case.
And then he adds Lost was trash. This is the same thing. Lost was the...
I never watched Lost. Is the same thing happen in Lost?
Yeah. Hey, let's confuse the hell out of everyone. They'll keep watching, and then it doesn't really matter how we end it because we all have jobs.
Let me be very clear. I am enjoying the show. I am enjoying watching the show.
I never did.
I'm talking about Severance now.
Mm-hmm.
I am enjoying the show. And I'm going to continue to watch the show. I am along for the ride. You got me. I've fallen into the trap. But all I'm saying is don't be surprised when you are completely let down whenever they attempt to bring this thing together. And I got a hunch too that they're not going to try and bring it together anytime soon. In fact, I think the world just keeps expanding. What's that? We're going to drop you into a forest, a snow-covered forest.
They're always wearing big puffy coats in the clips that I've seen.
That was the most recent episode. Okay. Yeah.
Like, why are they all wearing big puffy
coats? We're going to drop them into a forest. We're going to drop them into a snow-covered hollow with streams and tents and fires and marshmallows. Drop the marshmallows in the fire, Mr. Milchek said. And I'm along for the ride.
Everybody,
but I'm telling you, it's okay.
Everybody right now is screaming at their device. Oh, it pays off. It pays off. It pays off. Well, that may be like Connor even told me that. Like, don't worry, just keep with it. It pays off. You can't make me sit there for 8 hours and not give me any sort of tie-in.
They can.
Just sit there for 8 hours and then we'll tell you what you're watching. No, I got other bleep to do.
They can, because two things are happening, Josh. Number one, what you said. That's the most important part, which is if you're talking about it, it's a win, right? But number two, we also have a completely empty slate of television right now.
Oh, it's
there is nothing worth watching on TV. And meanwhile, this show has played it so perfectly that it has been gone for nearly 3 years, and they jump right back in and keep doing the same crap.
And you were still nom nom nom.
Yes,
nom, nom, nom.
yes,
nom, nom, nom,
because we are desperate and so thirsty for something that resembles prestige TV.
Here's how bad it is. HBO doesn't even have a prestige TV show right now. The White Lotus, I guess, pales in comparison to Sopranos, Succession, Game of Thrones.
Josh writes in.
Hi, Josh.
Josh Peterson.
See you in a few minutes.
I wish the Zone had super chats so I could charge your dumb asses for these stupid takes. That's not how super chats work, Josh. We'd be charging you for your stupid ass.
You want us to read that? It's going to cost you $0.25.
Exactly. Okay. So now we're taking theories. Here's Shane on
Shane.
The Equitable Bank inbox.
Shane that used to work here?
No.
Okay.
Different last name. Severance equals lost. Everyone is dead and TV is being made for social media. Maybe it's possible that everybody's dead, and if they zoom out at the end and everyone's dead in Severance.
Or it was all a dream and Adam Scott's alarm goes off at the end and his wife walks into the bedroom. Wake up, honey. Time to go to work.
Unfortunately, I don't think you can do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
it's all a dream works anymore.
I don't think it ever really worked, but now like the directors and the writers of the show would probably have to go move to another country. People would go to their house and like they would try to cause physical harm to them. I think they would, but that would be funny. At this point, I'm in it for the bit. I don't want people to have physical harm on people, but at this point, at the end of the show, they had this whole dream and they wrap it all up. And he's like, and you know, what's her name? Miss Casey, you know, the real Miss Casey says, wake up, honey.
It's time to go to work. Whoa. Oh my gosh, it was the Sunday scaries all along.
And then he goes to work and he's like, wow, I actually don't think this is so bad because I could be living in a post-apocalyptic apocalyptic hellscape when my brain is split in half between when I work or when I'm at home, or you're dead.
Do you want me to send this segment to Ben Stiller? Give him an idea like, hey, if you're looking to wrap this up, have we got an idea for you?
Yes. Can you do that? Ben, listen to this segment. Travis writes in. It's pretty interesting that Connor and Josh are talking about their disgust about a television show attempting to be captivating by teasing the audience, considering we still haven't gotten to the Caitlin Clark thing.
We're expanding our world, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it
in due time.
Well, don't worry. We'll tie a bow on that.
It pays off. Don't worry. Just keep watching.
Yep. We'll tie a bow on that one eventually. Don't worry about us. Okay, that feels better.
We've gotten a lot off our chest today. I kind of like.
Well, I was actually physically angry for the first half of the show because I hadn't eaten all morning. I didn't realize that I got like that because usually when I get mad, I just don't say anything.
Yeah.
But the first 2 hours of the show, I was so hungry that I didn't, you know, and I was talking. I was forced to talk at the same time, and the anger just like effortlessly flowed out of me.
I kind of like when there's no sports the night before, and
well, some people would argue
to our own devices.
But yeah, some people would argue that
this has been a terrible show.
Well, yeah, I mean, they would always argue that, but I think some people would argue that, you know, that's when Trev Alberts once said this. You know, parameters are good.
Okay.
You know, you don't want autonomy. You want guardrails. That's what makes people more successful. And so maybe Trev's right.
Okay.
Maybe Trev's right.
Now, to the people saying that this is a horrible show, I would counter with, we've been on the air longer than Schick and Nick.
Do you think our guardrails, our lack of guardrails in this case today, have done us harm? It's possible.
I don't think so. I feel we are both smart enough and competent enough to, even though we have no guardrails, we usually don't go to the places that have all the pitfalls in them.
Here comes Alex in Lincoln.
Hi, Alex.
He said, Josh P is right. Happer show with the bad takes. And now we're quoting Benedict Trev. I can't, because I watched the first episode of the second season last weekend, and I was late getting to it. Whatever. Too much basketball. It was easy. And so I watched the first episode of the second season, and I watched the first episode, and afterwards I was like, okay, I just need to catch up on some things. And so I was trying to find a summary of kind of like, what did I miss on the surface? What did I miss on the surface? Like just a quick refresher. I don't want to take any more than 3 minutes reading this thing. Did
you go to the wiki?
It was impossible because everything apparently that happens on that show happens underneath the surface. And I'm not that big of an idiot. Like, I understand what they're trying to do. I get it. Like, I know some of the things that are happening underneath the surface. I just wanted a refresher to remind my brain of what I was watching, and then I could pick it up from there and say, oh, like 6 times through the first 2 episodes. That's all I needed. Instead, all of the articles were like, this could possibly mean this could possibly point to this later on, and this was mentioned one time, and that didn't mean that, but this meant that. I'm like, that's not what I wanted.
Disgusting.
Not what I wanted. Fremont Fred writes in.
Hi, Fremont Fred.
Angry Connor Happer is good stuff and make me smile.
You pay Kevin to write you that on Cameo?
Travis falls in one more time.
Hi, Travis.
Now we're talking about guardrails. What happened to untethering? Does this show know anything other than hypocrisy?
No, you see, I want to frustrate the audience with our content. It has to get under the audience's skin.
Like, I don't know, maybe
make them feel something.
Maybe I'm too cynical. It's possible that I'm too cynical, and this will all work out fine. But I have this sneaking suspicion that I'm being taken for a ride here, and I can't shake it. I can't get rid of it.
It's going to win 43 Emmys.
It's a good show. I'm enjoying the show.
And everyone's going to go, I bet that garbage show won 43 Emmys. And it's like, oh, now you all pay attention to award shows.
Okay. Let's take a break.
Crack a playbook, Dylan.
Bold questions. We'll tell you what to watch next.